Robert Guerrero's on the main event. He says he's forever grateful for what you've done to his family. Can you elaborate on that?
Hold on. Where's Danny at? Hold on. What's going on? I saw you on the private jet. Yeah. See Floyd Mayweather. And you asked him what are those bags, and he said it's the trash. It's the first time I've seen a young amateur since probably Oscar De La Hoya, you know, a young Mexican fighter, a Mexican-American fighter since Oscar De La Hoya, to have such a huge fan base. And that's a major plus already. We look forward to him becoming a pay-per-view superstar. It started off great so far. Only thing we have to do is fine-tune a couple things, keep working, stay focused. As long as he go out there and get the job done, I'll get the job done on the outside. Same thing how I worked with my team in the past.
Floyd, I saw you say go orthodox, and he shoot that right hand to the body, and he turned right hand and he did it.
Well, a lot of times, you know, he's just turning pro, and he's a very, very young pro, but he's going to be okay. You know, you live and you learn. Any pointers that I can give a young fighter to help them get over the hump, that's why I'm here. I seen that he was doing a lot better fighting orthodox, even though he was landing great shots when he was fighting, you know, in the southpaw stance, but I prefer for him to stay orthodox.
What does it mean when you step in the ring, you have 4 rounds, and your face looks exactly the same before the fight and after the fight?
I mean, you know, very marketable kid. And very, very marketable. So many different endorsement deals have to come his way. But we have so many young guns on the rise. I'm here to help young fighters accomplish what they want to accomplish, become world champion, and also have something when their careers are over. That's the main thing. That's the great thing about my career. I've made crazy money, but I made smart investments. And that's what it's about, having someone when your career is over. Danny kind of had, I think that he could have got the knockout, but training camp was kind of difficult for him. His first professional training camp, he was going back and forth, training in Riverside, training in Vegas, but next training camp will be a lot better. I'll make sure, but I'm very, very proud of him, very proud of his team, has a strong team, and I want not just the Mexican community, but the world to get behind this young kid and support him.
You were just in Rio. Any of the Olympians catch your attention?
Yes, I'm working with a lot of. Well, I went over there to, of course, to sign fighters because I was an amateur and I didn't understand the business at first. You know, when I was young, all I thought it was fight, give me money, fight, give me money. But then, as you get older, you get wiser because if you no longer grow mentally, you basically a dead man walking. So you have to continue to grow because you can no longer grow physical. So you have to grow mentally, and I just want to continue to help these young fighters grow mentally.
How important is the knockout in your first career fight? Do you go in looking for the knockout, or you want the victory?
It's all about getting a W. No matter how you get it. It could have been by 1 point, 2 points. A win is a win. Just like in the Olympics. A lot of times when we go to the Olympic Games, you have a fighter that receives it. They say, oh, I won a bronze medal. I didn't win a bronze medal. I received the bronze because I didn't win gold. You only can win gold. You receive a bronze or you receive silver. That's what a lot of people don't understand. It's all about knowing certain things. It's just the small things. Small things we can tweak for him. I seen. Not going to talk about it. I talk about that when we get to the next training camp. Keep him active. Within probably 24 months, he should be ready to go.
Mexican style is alive and well at the Mayweather gym.
We don't discriminate.
I know that.
You know, we don't discriminate. You know, I love and care about all young fighters. You know, I love and care about all young fighters because I was a fighter and I had to come up through the trenches dealing with different promoters that that didn't really give a fuck about me, only cared about themselves. I genuinely care about these fighters. These fighters be in different training camps, and when you go, you look at certain situations, the promoter lives good, the manager lives good, everyone around the fighter has a great life, except for the fighters. Where I step in at and say, you know what, these fighters need to have a great life, because the fighters are going out there taking all the chances, taking all the battle wounds, broken ribs, bloody nose, cut eye. The fighters have to go through this. So what I bring different from any other promoter, I'm drug free. I've competed at the lowest level. I've competed at the highest level. I competed at the pinnacle of this sport. The ultimate goal is to help every fighter get to the highest plateau that he can possibly get to. So, I'm always going to speak highly about my fighters. To clean the sport up, we have to talk positive about these young fighters. Even if I'm a commentator and I'm commentating a fight, it's all about being positive. We can't be negative when we're talking about the sport of boxing is dead. The sport of boxing is not dead. What's going on is we have people that's so negative that's dealing with the sport when we need to be more positive. We criticize the fighters when we really shouldn't criticize the fighters. We should be criticizing the people that's surrounding the fighters that's taken from these young fighters.
Floyd, being at the Rio Games for the Olympics, did you get any flashbacks back in your time in '96?
No, because when I went to Rio, when I went in '96, it was a little different. It was work. I couldn't focus on nothing but work. I wasn't worried about going to watch basketball, gymnastics, track and field. I was worried about what I went there for, to compete at the highest level in amateur boxing and be victorious. I came up short, but everything happens for a reason. I was very, very pleased with me receiving the bronze medal, because my life wouldn't be where it's at today. I wouldn't be able to give back to young fighters like this. This year I went to Rio just as a spectator. Great experience, moving around the city, meeting different people, shaking hands, going to watch track and field, going to watch gymnastics. It was an experience of a lifetime, and I really enjoyed myself.
Were there any other fighters?
What do you say about Floyd being here at your fight at 4 in the afternoon, where I've never seen really a big-time promoter this early in the arena?
Oh,
It's true?
Well, actually, what I did, I wasn't going to let him down. I'm not able to make it to all my fighters' fights. Sometimes I have, different places I have to be. I have different businesses and different things I have to take care of. But this is a young superstar on the rise, and if I could be there for all my fighters, just the other day I went to the boxing gym. So it's so much young talent on the rise, and it's his special night. I've done my talking. It's time for y'all to talk to him. Very marketable kid, very humble, very gracious. Daniel Gonzalez.
How did it feel to have Floyd, kind of in your corner, giving you advice tonight, man?
I feel great. It was a blessing to have him in my way. When I was a kid, I dreamed of just meeting him. When I was a kid, I would always look at Mayweather. And my dad used to always tell me, watch him, he's good, right? So every night before my fights, I used to always watch him. And then the day I met him, I was going crazy. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I said his face. I was shaking when I shook his hand, and he probably didn't notice, but I was shaking. And then later when we started talking business, I was like, damn, it's a blessing to just, when I was a kid trying to meet him and now fighting for him. It's a very good blessing,
I see Floyd shook your left hand.
Huh?
Floyd shook your left hand.
Oh, yeah.
So you're officially part of the money team now.
I feel that, honestly, as a promoter, you got promoters.
And let's be clear, that's a bonus.
That's taken away from these fighters. It's all about the talent winning. It's all about the talent receiving. Do I think he's going to be a world champion? I think he's going to be a superstar. I honestly think he's going to be a superstar. That's just my honest opinion. I think that when I first turned professional, they knew. You could just see it. Sometimes you can just see it. Do I see it? Absolutely. We want the best for him. We want the best for his family. But the main thing, what we want to do, is help fighters have something when their career is over. You know, I'm blessed to be in this position. We talked about this before. My real estate portfolio, you know, to own 9 buildings in Times Square and still to be retired and still making, you know, $50 million a year is truly a blessing. And so, you know, that's, you know, I have a gentleman's club, some would call it a strip club, that's opening next week, girl collection at the gentleman's club.
Man, are you got media day there? That's all we want to know. That's all we want to know.
Vegas?
Las Vegas, yeah, Las Vegas. But I was just blessed to, you know, meet the right people, make smart investments. It's about the talent winning. It's all about the talent winning.
Look, you made $300 million in one night. Another fighter who fought that night is fighting again, and they say that he's fighting for money. How could that be?
Your team. You know, it's all about who you surround yourself with. I don't know who's his promoter. I gave him the option before. Well, Manny spoke before about fighting the first time. I think I offered him, I think 40 million. I don't know if it was, but I told him I would wire him 20 million within 48 hours. And then at that particular time, he said he wanted 50-50, and he got off the phone. And at that time, I think I was going to make for that fight probably 75 million at that time, somewhere upwards of 75 million. But it's all about timing. I took my time, I waited, we communicated. You know, leading up to the fight, you know, always making smart investments. Leading up to the fight that week, we made somewhere upwards of 30 million cash. And then, you know, for the Canelo fight, smart team, once again, just with those 2 fights, Canelo and the Pacquiao fight, 400 million, just with those 2 fights. But it's all, you know, I was blessed. I think luck was on my side. I was blessed. All about timing. I came around at the right time. I was around in the 90s. Before, I built my fan base before all this social media. I had already built a fan base. It wasn't easy. The ultimate goal is to take these fans in Anaheim and around the Riverside area and bring them right to Las Vegas. If we can do that, we're gonna be right where we need to be with this young kid right here.
Floyd, you said he's a future superstar. How many fights? You know, tonight's only his pro debut. But how many fights do you think it'll take to get him to fight for that title?
He's still a kid. He's still a young kid. He's still learning. He has a lot to learn. A heavy hitter with both hands. Strong. He already got a. I mean, you would think he was fighting the main event tonight. As soon as he walked to the ring, I made a call to someone. I said, we got a superstar on our hands. And that was it.
Who did you call?
The world don't need to know everything. I made a call.
So you sat next to another future superstar, Neno Rodriguez, tonight. How's that relationship going between you and Neno?
You know, one thing we don't do is disrespect other promotion companies. Right now, he's with Top Rank, but we know Neno and Danny are very close friends. They trained together for years, very, very close, from the same area. Top Rank chose a good fighter. What else can I say? We all get lucky sometimes.
I interviewed Ruben Guerrero about 6 months ago, and he says he's forever indebted to what you did for his family. Can you elaborate on what happened in the promotions and the fight?
Oh, we just for the fight, you know, how we weigh the situation out is I look at a fighter and see what's the most he's made in the fight. If we know he's $1 million fighter, and I know that we're facing this fighter, we try to weigh our options and see what we can do to make that fighter make more if he's facing me. Even if he's not facing me, we have to try to leverage to try to get much as we possibly can get for that fighter. And that's what we did for Badu Jack. It's all about leveraging, and we help Badu Jack make millions.
Floyd, you are now retired. Do you miss the ring? Do you want to get back in there?
Nah, I'm okay. Nah.
You're good? You don't want to go for number 50?
No, I'm okay. I had a great career, 20-year run. You know, with 19-year run, 18 years world champion. So I had a good run.
So you're just ready for just to promote all the young.
I just want to keep helping fighters.
Young guns out there.
I just want to keep helping these young fighters grow and get them to that next level. So it's just, we got to take one day at a time, one fight at a time, and we'll get to where we need to get to.
I mean, you're retired now, and you're still the face of boxing. You're still in the spotlight.
Well, I guess it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I never had any hard feelings towards any fighter. It's all business. I understand business. At first, when I was younger, I think I did. When you get older, you get wiser. So
you're ready to pass that along to all the young
if I
fighters
can.
out there, yeah.
If I can, I had a good career. You know, the ultimate goal is to find the next Floyd Mayweather. I mean, I want these fighters to go out there and hopefully he's under my banner if he break my record. I feel good about it.
You were out in Rio scouting out the American team. Were there any other fighters from other countries that possibly you were scouting out?
Yes, actually, we got a couple American fighters, I think, but a lot of foreign fighters. A lot of foreign fighters from Cuba. We got some fighters from Cuba, fighters from Kazakhstan. One of the guys that won the gold medal, we was already communicating with him. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna make some things happen. Nothing happens overnight. We're not here to. There's different days you feel different ways. We're not here to badmouth any other promoter or any other company. We just want to help. We just want to get in what we fit in and help our young fighters.
Sean, is it different for you to go to Rio where you meet these superstar Olympians where the best and the best in their field and they see you, and how do they respond when you walk in the room?
It was like it is everywhere. It was pandemonium. It's a little wild, but it's life.
Now, Conor McGregor's an MMA fighter. He uses your name before his last fight. He's calling your name now. What do you make of that? Of another sport, another fighter wanting to fight you?
Just to be the face of MMA, and I've never competed in MMA, and still be the face of boxing. It's just a blessing, you know. I try to play the background. That's why when the fighters fight, I don't get in the ring and try to steal the fighter's shine. You know, sometimes the fighter asks me, please come in the ring. And when they ask me to come in the ring, that's when I go. But most of the time, I try to stay on the sideline. I had my time to shine. Great career. It's time for these other young fighters to shine.
Did you watch the McGregor versus Diaz? Because I believe Skip Bayless of ESPN said that McGregor can hang with you after watching his boxing skills, apparently. This is coming from Skip Bayless of ESPN. What are your thoughts on that?
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Well, what about the fact that I read somewhere that combined Diaz and McGregor made $5 million? I mean, compared to boxing, what could possibly be done to change that situation in the UFC to get fighters the money that they're entitled to?
Eventually, I'm going to move over, but I'm going to stay still and be involved with boxing. But I'm going to be in both MMA and in boxing, and we want to make sure, once again, the talent wins. It's all about the talent winning.
How integral is Al Heyman in your development? Now you went from, you said, only knowing boxing at your first professional career, and now you have an insurmountable amount of fighters. Now you're going to Rio to recruit.
Well, you have to realize this. Certain relationships are meant to be. I never heard Al say anything negative about fighters. Al don't speak negative about any fighters. He don't speak negative about any trainers. He try to make sure I stay focused, I stay on the right path, and he want all his fighters to stay on the right path and stay focused.
Can you elaborate on the plan to fight Manny Pacquiao? Can you clear that up in terms of people say you were ducking for 5 years and it was
that's old. I like to leave stuff that's old in the past and just move on. It's Danny's night. You know, they ask me the same questions 1,000 times about myself. Am I coming back? I'm not coming back. They ask me the same questions over and over and over again. I just want to help these young fighters. That's really what it's about.
You're 100% retired, Floyd? Yeah? Okay.
Shawn Porter,
I'll leave it alone.
What advice do you give to young up-and-coming promoters?
I just seen Shawn Porter. Well, I didn't get to see his fight, but he's a hell of a fighter. Tough competitor, tough fighter. Got the will to win. And from what I was told, I didn't get a chance to see the fight because I was traveling. From what I was told, a lot of people said that he really won the fight. So that's boxing. But you know what's so crazy? So many big fights out there, and we all know that Shawn Porter's not ducking and dodging anyone, you know, in the sport of boxing. He's a tough competitor. He go out there and give it 100% every time he go out there and fight. And that's great for the sport of boxing.
Can you give us an update on Badu Jack? What's next for him?
Unification bout. Hopefully in Europe. Unification bout. Big money bout. Eventually we'll make it happen. Everything takes time. Nothing happens overnight. Same thing like my fights in the past, me and Manny Pacquiao. Nothing happens overnight. It took time. And to make a mega fight happen or a unification bout, it takes time.
You think it'll happen by the end of the year?
If we keep our fingers crossed and get on the same page, it can happen.
Can you speak on the tweet by Gervonta Davis? Can you elaborate on that? I know he's been spending time with his family. He's been traveling. I think he lives probably in Baltimore or Atlanta. And I don't know where he's training at right now because I've been busy. I've been out the country, you know. But it's time to get these fighters back active and fighting.
How soon can we expect Danny back inside that ring?
Whenever he's ready.
And do you want to keep him very busy?
Absolutely. At least once a month. He's young. So before 24 months, if we get the right fights, he'll be ready.
I'm with Sam quite often, and you guys have a cool relationship. Can you elaborate on the relationship with you and Sam? Sometimes I'm sitting next to him when you text him and stuff like that.
Oh, Sam. A lot of people think Sam Watson is Al Heyman. It's crazy. Sam, good guy, means no harm. Guys like Al Heyman and Sam Watson come around once in a lifetime. So you must appreciate them while they're here. You have to appreciate both. Great team and a good chemistry. I'm through.
Thank you.
Thank you, Floyd.
Congratulations, Dan.
Thank you, appreciate it.